I'm going to say good afternoon, everybody, because it's afternoon, and want to welcome you all here. As many of you know, we will begin with a short business meeting and then look forward to our speaker, which will occupy most of our time here. So what I will start with is our land acknowledgement, and I'd like to take time right now to acknowledge UBC campuses are located on the traditional, ancestral, unceded territory of the Musqueam, Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, and Sequel or Okanagan Nation and their peoples. UBC is a community of learners and have much to learn from the Indigenous stewards. So again, I'm going to welcome all of you for joining us in person and for those who are online. I'm happy to start with an update about our new strategic plan for 2025 to 2028. The draft is now ready and will be going to the council to review and feedback. Once it's finalized, we can share that with all the members. And this is a result of a lot of hard work by many people. This plan outlines our goals and priorities for the next 3 years, building on what we've achieved, strengthening engagement, and ensuring that the college remains vibrant and sustainable. As part of this work, Bob Armstrong, who is the chair of the Emeritus College Development Committee, will be leading a series of focus groups on fundraising. These sessions will give members a chance to share ideas on how we can strengthen our financial base and support future initiatives, which we all know is very important to the college. It is a great opportunity for members to be part of shaping the college's next step. I'm also very pleased to announce a new special interest group, the weekly Emeritus Members Walk in Pacific Spirit Park. The walks will take place on Tuesday, and it's a great way to connect with one another while enjoying nature and good conversation. The walks are led by Mo Iqbal, and he is here to, please stand so everybody can see you. Oh, at home you can't, okay, sorry. It's just in the room, right? Technology. Thank you for taking this on. Also, I'm pleased to announce that a new series called My Health, My Responsibility, coordinated by Carolyn Gilbert, and Carolyn is here today. She's waving her hand over there, which takes thank you. This series takes a closer look at aspects of physical, mental, or preventative health. The first in this series features Dr. Teresa Louis Ambrose and is called Active Body, Healthy Brains, the Role of Exercise in Promoting Healthy Cognitive Aging. It is next week on Wednesday, October 29th, and you can register on our website, and I encourage you to do this. Another upcoming event at the college is Estate Planning 101, a webinar on November 13th, where you will hear from experts on a range of topics, from how to get started with estate planning to expert level topics like bequests and tax advantages. You should have received an invitation via email, but if you've missed it, please reach out to our office. And I believe I said that it is virtual, so that should be easy for people to participate. And finally, we're going to take a quick look ahead. The college and the University Retiree Association of Canada, called, the acronym is CURAC, is having a conference that will be held May 20th to 22nd. It's going to be held in New Westminster with general presentations on May 21st. It's a wonderful opportunity to meet colleagues from across the country, share ideas, and showcase what we're doing here at UBC. I really encourage anyone who's interested to consider attending, and you will hear more about this in our emails and newsletter. Another activity I'd like to share with you is that we are embarking on a visiting professor program organized by Green College, and Don Fisher is coordinating this activity. Unfortunately, he has a conflict, so isn't here to say a few words about it. So I will just say a few words. We are going to have our inaugural Emeritus College Maryvale Visitor in Residence at Green College, and this will be Dr. Catherine Botvin. Dr. Botvin is a professor in biology at McGill University. She is a distinguished interdisciplinarian who is a CRC, an FRSC, a Trudeau Fellow, and the recipient of various other recognitions, including the extremely rare distinction of 2 RSC medals. She will be in residence at Green College from March 15th to April 11th, 2026. You will hear more about this as it gets closer to the date. And also Don wanted me to mention that there are 2 new deadlines for nominations in this academic activity, and they are December 5th, 2025, and March 6th, 2026. If you have any inquiries, they certainly can be directed to Don Fisher, who's the chair of this program, or else to me or to the office or via email. So this concludes the business portion of the meeting. Before we move on to our speaker, I just want to know if there's any questions, any comments that anyone has at this moment. Yes? Yes, there will. Oh, I'm sorry. The question was if the My Health My Responsibility will be recorded. And I said yes. Anything else? Okay, so now it's my pleasure to introduce Bill McCutcheon, who is the past principal of the college, to introduce our speaker.
Good afternoon, everyone. So better use this. It is my pleasure today to introduce our speaker, Professor Rashid Sumaila, and he is a Canada Research Chair in Interdisciplinary Ocean and Fisheries Economics. He's a professor at the Institute for Oceans and Fisheries and the School of Public Policy and Global Affairs here at UBC. He is internationally recognized for his pioneering work in ocean science, particularly in the integration of economics, policy, and sustainability. His research spans critical global issues, including fisheries subsidies, marine protected areas, illegal fishing, climate change, and deep-sea mining. Through innovative approaches such as intergenerational discounting and game theory applications, Dr. Sumaila explores how economic tools can help preserve marine ecosystems and ensure equitable access to ocean resources. This lecture will highlight his ongoing work on the valuation of marine ecosystems and the economic pathways toward a sustainable oceans fisheries. Dr. Sumaila, Rashid, welcome to our Emeritus College.
Thanks. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So thank you very much, Bill and Sarah and Sandra, for inviting me. This is a special kind of honor. I mean, to get the chance to talk to my senior colleagues, all of you here, it's a privilege, actually. So thank you so much. I also have to mention Gordon Monroe, Professor Monroe. He is the reason I'm here, actually. And Gordon, some of you may know this already, Gordon was the first economist, as far as I know, who applied game theory to fisheries management, transboundary fisheries and so on. And that was my area of research in my PhD work. And I did my PhD in Norway, and they had a really cool part of the PhD. You can choose to go anywhere in the world for 1 year where your area is really solid, where there's top researchers doing work in your field, just to go and get networking and so on. So I came here to Gordon. I came to Gordon as his visiting scholar. And that was the beginning, okay? So Gordon is so important in so many ways to me and to our profession, right? I should push it closer. Thank you for reminding me. So Gordon, thank you. And the amazing thing is that I'm still teaching with Gordon. We share a course. We're going to teach in January, Resource economics for land and food. Maybe. In February, yeah, January time. He's so good. This guy, he corrects me all the time. It's amazing. In fact, one day I told him, Gordon, you make me feel like I'm older than you. He said, how so? I said, at least you're keeping your hair. Mine are gone. So it's amazing. Yeah, thank you. And George is here. He's a colleague from the policy school. He left us not long ago, and I didn't get to see him until today, right? He's retired, so he just walked away and left us. Come back sometime, okay, George? Yeah, we miss you. All right, so that is just the opener. And 3 ways to avoid reaching ocean tipping points. This is big, isn't it? What do I know that I can, 3 ways of doing it. I'm going to try and to propose some suggestions on how we, as the people, the few things we can do to really at least give it a chance of not pushing our ocean ecosystems into tipping points. And so that is my goal here. And this is a big paragraph. Essentially, an ocean tipping point is a critical threshold at which small, gradual changes in the ocean, conditions such as temperature, climate change, acidity, and biomass, trigger sudden, often irreversible shifts in our marine ecosystems. And for example, corals are dying a lot because of climate change, coral bleaching. And some of our fish stocks are actually suffering big time. My colleague, Mark Allison, was telling me only yesterday, there is a species of salmon that they could only find 27 of them this year coming back. 27. He told me they used to catch thousands of tons, and so this is real. It's not just and we'll see. I have another example which is famous, and I'm sure many of you would have heard about this. So the question is, how are we doing with our oceans? How are we treating it? And essentially, when you look at the ocean, when we the people go to the ocean and to nature in general, we do basically 2 things. 1, we take the things we need, the things we want, the things we desire out of the ocean into our economy, our culture, social systems. Do what we do with them, I won't tell you. We do what we do with them. And what do we produce at the end of it? Waste. We produce CO2, plastic, gear being abandoned in the ocean. So we take good things from the ocean, good things come from nature, and at the end of the day, bad things go into nature. And all of us who are in this field, our goal is to help society to make sure that we don't overtake and we don't overpollute. We do this wisely. Otherwise, we kill this amazing system which is there to help us and save us. Not only us, but future generations also. They have a right to this. So that is the whole thing. Now, how are we doing? My colleague, Daniel Pauli, he wrote a book. I think he published that in 2019. And the title is Vanishing Fish, okay? He looks around and our fish stocks are just going down. He came up with the idea of shifting baselines, right? Every generation starts with a lower stock of fish, for example, in the ocean. And so he wrote about vanishing fish, where he showed a number of the problems. We are taking big fish and the next big one, fishing down marine food web. We are disturbing the habitat. Climate change is all over us. Marine debris. This picture you see at the bottom is actually a live picture in the video. If I showed you the live video, your stomach will be turning, actually. It's a lot of debris there, oil spill. So the verdict is that overall, some places do well, better than others, but overall, we are not treating our system well, ocean system. We are overtaking and we are overpolluting. Now, why do I care about this? I care about nature. Nature has the right to be here, and in our own interest, we need it. But what is even more interesting to me as an economist, social scientist, is that when the ocean is not doing well, when nature is not doing well, it is we, the people, who suffer the consequences. So this is about people. These three graphs you see, the top ones are from our Sea Around Us, our group at UBC. And the bottom one is from the FAO, Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations. And you see the trend. Increasingly, we are taking fish from depleted stocks, right? That's what it says. And the consequences of that is not only the fish that is suffering, we the people are. You see at the top, the guy says, is that all the shrimp I get? I go all over the world and people tell me, we used to go out half a day and fill our boats. Now we go a week and we can get half of it, and this is serious. I was in Malaysia. I went to the coast and I saw a lady with a table trying to sell fresh fish from fishers who have come. I was excited. I wanted to talk with her and even took my camera to take a photo. I tell you, when I saw the fish sitting on her table, I couldn't take a photo. It was so miserable. A few of them and small fishes. And this poor lady, that's why she depends on to feed her family. So this is really about people at the end of the day, right? At the bottom there, this is becoming more common. We call them environmental refugees. People who cannot live in their place because of all that is happening. And they have to move. People don't sit down and die. That's how everybody migrates, right? This is not a Mexican thing. If I was in the US, I'd say it's not a Mexican thing. It's not an African thing in Europe. All people, if the condition is tight, you move. So this lady is a symbol of environmental refugees. She's just not tenable to live where she is. So this is about people, and we need to take care of this in order to stabilize our world. One example, I promise you, I'll show you an example. This is our famous cod stocks of Newfoundland. That's the pattern of the catches over time. And books have been written about how many Europeans came to that coast because of cod. There's one historian who says that in the beginning, the biomass of cod was so thick that you could almost walk on the surface of the ocean without sinking, right? That was how much cod is. Today we can get 20,000 a year, right? So this is not a joke. And see the escalation of the catches around the system. We got boats that are powerful. You just go in with subsidies and all that. Of course, you reach a point where the system cannot take it anymore. Bang, it comes down. 92, the fishery is shut down and it has not come back yet. And I could give you examples. There are some places where you have the crash and they manage to come back. Herring stocks in Europe, Norway, the Norwegian spawning, spring spawning herring. They took measures and the fish came back. That's the beauty of nature. Nature is very kind. If you allow it, it will come back. provided you haven't destroyed it enough that it cannot come back, right? So that's the example. Now, what do you do with this? Daniel wrote his book. He calls it Vanishing Fish. And I wrote my own book, my COVID book, I've been dreaming to write this book, and I never got the time until COVID came, locked in my little house. So then I wrote it out. And the title is Infinity Fish. Infinity Fish. It's cool, isn't it? Don't you like the cover? Yeah. And the idea for the book came to me in Namibia, down in South Africa. I've studied their fisheries, and in Namibia, there are two resources that are really important, fish and diamonds. And they are at each other's throat because the diamond, a lot of it is done offshore. So there is, and I know this, and I'm a fish guy, right? So I go there, they ask me to give a talk, I go up there. And I say, one of the things I want to tell you today is that fish are more valuable than diamonds. Man, come and see the room. It's like I dropped something on them. Who is this crazy guy? Fish and diamonds? I say, yeah, they are. Our valuation system is so skewed, in my view, that the really valuable things don't get their place in the market. So this is how I justify it. That's chapter 1 of the book. The way I justify it is that fish is renewable, right? They come back. If you allow them, they can continue to feed you forever, to infinity. They can give you benefit to infinity, and anything that can do that. Mathematically, if you sum it over time, what do you get? Infinity benefits. How about diamond? And then I tell them, diamond, they deceive you, the marketeers, they say diamond is forever. Diamond is not forever. If you dig a ton of diamond today, you are not going next year to dig the same ton. It's gone forever. And I had 3 ministers sitting like you in front of me, African minister from the Seychelles, Namibia, and Sierra Leone. And I turn around and say, I know what is in your head. You say, we can take our diamond money and invest it, and we get returns forever. And I said, but I know you guys, you don't save a penny. You are all running deficits. So I rather have my fish than rely on you investing for me, right? So that is. The second reason I think fish is more valuable is that if you look at Namibia, fish is valuable to many. How many of you in this room have eaten fish this week or last week? See, usually it's a big number. How many of you have seen raw cut diamond in your lifetime? Raw cut diamond. There you go. In Namibia, about 500 people are employed by DBS to do the diamond mining. They get some good salary, and then that's it. Directly, the fact that fish is something many of us rely on for our nutrition, our livelihood, means that. So that's my chapter 1, right? You don't need to buy the book, it's over. Yeah, so I just came back from the World Economic Forum meeting in Dubai, and it was unbelievable. About 800 economists, and I got the mic. I told them about this book. And I said, fish is more valuable than diamond. This is a group of really conventional economists. It was unbelievable, the effect of this. They talked about this for all the 3 days. Who is this crazy guy? I was sitting outside, and one lady comes from the washroom. She said, Rashid, all the ladies, that's what they're talking. Fish is more valuable than that in the washroom. Then at the end of the conference, when we're leaving, we had a chance to say something. I raised my hand. And one lady said, are you going to tell us to put fish on our fingers? This was amazing. I was so blown away because that's really good thought, right? The diamonds are here, and I said, are you wanting us to do that? To me, that is really an effective line, right? She thought about this for 3 nights and came up with something beautiful, actually. Fish on our fingers. It will be in my next book, actually. Oh, it's so cool. All right. So Daniel says vanishing fish. I say infinity fish. If we do well, it's more optimistic. It's more positive. You can actually keep this going if we do the best. But how do we do that? We don't want to reach the tipping point. So to get away from tipping points, I think we've got to move away from vanishing fish and move towards infinity fish. Have to stop overtaking, we have to stop overpolluting, find a way to keep this valuable resource going forever into the future, right? Not only for us, but those who come before us. Now, that is, we will have to abandon the notion that we, the people, have the right to take everything everywhere all at once. I really have thought about this. I was flying and I was watching that movie. You know where this came from? It's a movie. That won about 7 Academy Awards, right? I was watching it and everything everywhere all at once. I say, oh my God, if you do this to nature, we are dead, right? For nature, it should be not everything, not everywhere, not all at once. Because there are considerations. You should grab everything. And I think I'm going to make a big statement here. I think there are some of us, not many, there are some of us who believe that they have the right to grab anything that they can grab. No restrictions, no limitations, no traditional knowledge. These days, no shame, frankly speaking. And we are getting into difficult situations. Hopefully we'll come back out of it. So what are my 3 ways to do it? Number 1, not all at once. And this is where intergenerational justice comes from. Bill, you mentioned intergenerational discounting. This was a crazy idea. It's still a crazy idea among my economist fellows. But the more I think of it, I think that is one of the things we need to think. We have to come to the grips with the fact that nature is not just there for those of us here at the moment, that we have an obligation to pass a good state to our children and grandchildren. And they can do what they do with it. I cannot dictate that, but we should at least give them the option. And that's the idea behind infinity fish and all that. So how do you do that? I got this quote. Our profession is just a beautiful profession. Every place is a laboratory. So I think I was in Halifax after our conference. I was waiting for taxi, and there was a newspaper on the counter, in the hotel. Globe and Mail, I took it, I started reading, and then I found this quote. And that, together with my experience with indigenous people of British Columbia and the Pacific Northwest, led me into this intergenerational thinking. So this guy, Nietzsche, my European friends tell me this is not a guy to quote on many things, right? And so I'm aware of this. But I think he got this pretty good, actually. And he says that, now you know that I'm not a young person. I can't see very well here. Essentially, he's talking about egoism, where it means what is close to us is most important, both in time and in space. And I think it's not wrong. I believe that this room now is the most important space for us in this room, because this is where we are, right? So it's not wrong, and today is important, right? But the thing is, if you do that, as we do in economics, you end up putting too much weight in your policy decisions on the current and underweighting the future. That is what discounting in economics does, I think. Essentially, when you set up your net present value equation, some economics, you want to maximize it, you discount through time with a constant discount rate. The tendency is that things coming to you in the future are usually weighted less than those now, based on this thinking, which is not a faulty thinking. People actually behave like this. But if we want to avoid vanishing fish, we will have to do something about this. That's the point I'm making. So let's see what I did with that. I was just experimenting on pen and pencil. So I started by thinking, imagine that you are here and your granddaughter is coming in 50 years, right? You are here now. If you ask me, what do you do with our fish in the ocean? I'll probably say, let me fish it. I'm here, let me grab it. If you ask your granddaughter, coming 50 years, you know what she's likely to say? Leave the fish in the ocean when I come, right? So if they have the power and the weighting, this should be taken into account, because the fish is not just for us, or the ocean is not just for us. So I started thinking in terms of game theory. You have two parties, they have different interests in this case, and in the temporal. So what do you do with that? And that led me to start playing around. And what I did was to take this picture. This is if you have a constant flow of benefit through time, and you discount it by, I think this is 8%, that's the picture of the discounted value that you see there. You can see that by 100 years it's really down. And if you use this to make decisions, which is what we do, the weight is mostly about now and the current generation and so on. And if we collect the area, let's say I create 20 generations here. People who fish for 20 years and they retire, and the next one comes in, just to make it more tractable. And you collect the area under the curve, this is what you get. The first generation of 20 years, that's their net present value. And the next, and the next, and the next. My question to you is this fair? Is it a fair distribution between the generations? Anybody who dares to say something? No? Yeah, I see you saying no. Yeah, I'm going to surprise you, actually. I'm going to surprise you. And this was my eureka for this method. So what I did, I said, look here. This thing counts because we have one discounting clock. That is the discounting clock of we, the people here. T is set to 0 now. And we value all the fish through time based on our starting point. And I thought, it's almost like saying that the Canadians who were here 100 years ago, the fish we are eating now is not valuable to them. And that is true. It's not they who are eating the fish, but it's definitely valuable to us. It's the same thing with the future generation. My whatever, what they eat, I don't eat it, so it's not valuable to me. So that is the thinking. And so what I did in my method, it was very simple. We do discounting, I'm not denying that, but I then introduced different discounting clocks for each generation. So you come in, when you come, you discount your fish, you go, the next person comes, and she starts discounting her fish. When she comes, don't discount for them. See that? And when you do that, if you just change the clock, starting each time a new generation comes, that is actually what you get. You see the reddish bar? So it's actually fair. If only you count their fish as their fish, not as my fish. And that, when I saw this, I said, oh my gosh, this is something, right? So then I went ahead, wrote papers and said, we need to have more than one discount rate when we deal with the environment. Because I gave a talk in my own department where I did my PhD and my professor was sitting by me. Gordon, you know some of these people. And one of them told me, Rashid, why are you discounting my daughter's fish more valuable than me? Just the last year he's leaving, when his daughter comes, she's redoing the clock, so the value of the fish to her is higher. He said, why are you doing that? Before I could answer, another student, I know why, because you'll be dead then. And that was, I didn't need to talk, right? So it worked out very well. So that is really the key to the idea. So I went ahead and built models, ecosystem models, and published a paper. This was way back in 2004. And I shared it with colleagues at the Fisheries Center then. And Carl Waters really loved this. Oh my God. Some of you know Carl Waters, right? He's retired, one of our big names. He rushed to my room and said, oh my God, you just solved something really huge. And he joined me and we did the next paper. I did a discrete time model. And he came and we did a continuous version because people don't just come after 20 years. Each minute there's a new person coming. So we did a continuous version and published that and applied it, and this is what you get. if you value the fish as their fish, you will actually rebuild fish stocks rather than deplete them. And that is what you see here when we did an exercise with Icelandic fisheries, their ecosystem. So we see that the fish is depleting. We say, hey, let's stop it. Let's take out all the big trawlers because they disturb the bottom. We shut it for 25 years. The fish comes back, and then we manage it optimally. We get that catch, the straight line, after 25 years. Now, you value that. If you use conventional discounting, economists will tell you that is not worthwhile. That's the first two bars. Don't do the rebuilding. No economic value because the present value is lower. But if you use the IG, then it is worthwhile because the weight on future generations is improved. All right, so that is the not all at once part of the story. Intergenerational discounting, yeah. It's being developed. I've seen people apply it in different fields, finance and agriculture. I have mathematicians who really love this, and we are continuing to develop the idea. Now, next thing, biodiversity justice. And here, it's not everything. I don't think we should catch everything in the ocean. No. We can disagree, but I'm going to give arguments, and then whatever happens. And there are, reasons for this. If you think of the ocean, we have country waters, exclusive economic zones of countries. That is 200 nautical miles from your coast into the ocean, each coastal country. This is through the UN, United Nations Law of the Sea, approved in 1982, did this. So that's an agreement. So nobody comes within those 200 nautical miles to fish Canadian waters. Somebody is going to check you. So you don't do it. But then the rest of the ocean, the middle, is called the high seas, which doesn't have that much control. There are mechanisms that has been developed, like regional fisheries management organizations. They don't have too much power. So we call the fish that spend all their life in the high seas, we call them orphans of the ocean. There's no authority really looking after them. And the thing about these fish is that they live very long, they grow very low, they are very economic. More economic than economists, I tell you. Because to survive down thousands of feet in the ocean, there's little light, there's little food, very economical. They don't move much, they just grow small. So if you insist in catching them, you're almost mining them. Then they become diamond and all the value goes, right? So some of them live over 100 years with names like Alfonsino. That's a fish. Is that like a human being? So what I argue here, I say that anything that can live as long as your grandma and your grandpa, I think they deserve the right to be left alone. Yeah. So this is the argument for those kind of fishes, really. And this is not economics, right? But I bring a lot of traditional knowledge. One of the things guiding me, my grandfather, when we were young, playing soccer. I used to play soccer, huh? How many of you? I can take the ball through your legs, And we're knocking around, and my grandfather one day he will say, hey guys, just because you can knock around, hit the ground, doesn't mean you should do it. You should walk on the ground as if it feels pain. This is my dear old man. I still remember this. At the time, I didn't understand. Walk on the ground as if it feels pain. I later realized this is sophisticated environmentalism, right? This is local knowledge. I'm sure if I take this to Wall Street or the White House, they will call me a primitive and chase me out. You grab it, you dig it out, you take everything, make money. They're looking for the next trillionaire in this world. As if that means anything to 99% of the world's population. And the one who will first get it is probably an African. You know who? I try to remind him he's an African, Elon Musk, He was born in South Africa, right? So I don't care whether you are a billionaire. What is the world? The world's people, what's their condition? So so this kind of things, traditional knowledge, local knowledge, comes into my economics. And last year I got the chance to give a keynote to 800 European economists in Belgium. And the title of my talk was that I think economics needs to bring in indigenous wisdom and granny wisdom. Granny wisdom. Because this idea of just one way of seeing quarterly profit, I don't know. It makes some people very rich, but environment may suffer. Anyway, that's Rashid doing his thing here. Then deep sea mining, I've been looking at that. That's another issue. We got 2 papers published. And when we look at it, if you really take into account what economists will call externalities, negative externalities to the environment and other social issues, you don't touch this with a long pole, no. But some of us want to do it. In fact, the leading company in the world is a Vancouver-based company, the Metals Company. And they can't wait to go out. This is managed under the UN, the ISA, the International Seabed Authority. But as soon as Mr. Trump came, the Metals Company and others have managed to get, he's done an executive order. He's going to authorize them to fish in the high seas everywhere, to dig for minerals there. So, but that's one thing all the economists have seen so far doesn't really support that. So not everything, okay? The last bit, so we shall soon get there. Not everywhere. Another controversial idea here. If you look at the global ocean, so the light blue is the exclusive economic zones I mentioned, 200 nautical miles. The dark blue is actually the high seas. That's very large. It's 2/3 of the ocean, actually. Half of the surface of the earth, that part. And that's the part that doesn't have solid management. And the thing is, what you do in one part of the ocean actually can affect other parts. We're all connected. This is why I love working with the ocean, because of the connectivity. I have to look at it at different scales, local, national, regional, and global, to get the full picture, right? Because what you do in one place actually can affect what happens. I like to say that fish don't need visa. They go where they go. Huh? Sometimes I want to be fish. It's easy, right? But actually, in many instances, I don't want to be fish, right? But when it comes to the visa, yeah. So we need to manage this as a whole. And what we came up, a number of us came up with an idea after doing a lot of studies. This is a paper we published. What we did is we asked the question, how much of the fish we catch and the value we get from our global ocean comes from fish that live all their lives in country waters, all their lives in the high seas, and those who live part of their life in the high seas and in country waters. And we were shocked. I was shocked, actually. Less than 1% of the fish that live all their life in the high seas are caught, actually. So most of them, 78% of the value is from fish that go in and out. So this made us to come up with the idea to close the whole high seas to fishing, because the fish will come and you'll catch them cheaply, less carbon, and the distribution is better. Only about 8 countries catch 70% of the fish. We are talking about China, Korea, Taiwan, Spain, China, I said already. So these are the countries doing, which is the heritage of humankind. And that's what the UN describes as high seas. But if we close it, a small country like Bangladesh will also get the fish when they come in. It's mostly tuna. Tuna goes in and out. There's one tuna that crosses 53 or 54 countries in their lifetime, right? So anyway, so that's the whole idea. And it was not only our group at UBC, as we were doing this, Chris Costello at University of Santa Barbara also came up with a model that says virtually the same thing. It's better to turn the high seas into a fish bank for the world, where the fish can thrive in peace with our big boats chasing it, and when they come in, we catch them cheaply. So this is a little animation. You put a line there, the high seas and EE there. If you protect the high seas well, what happens? You close it, the fish they get well, they grow more, and animals are When there's too much density, what do? You move. Huh? They migrate also. And if you do this well, the fish will just jump into your boat. See? Yeah. Yeah, cheap. It's good for the economies, it's good for biodiversity, it's good for climate change, and it's good for distributional benefits. We calculated the Gini coefficient. And currently, the 8 countries, if you calculate the revenue we get from the high seas, the distribution of the revenue to coastal countries is actually, the Gini is the same as the country with the worst distribution of income in the world. Does anybody know which country that is? Can you guess? Let's have a chat. Brazil. Okay, Brazil. Most people will say the US, and actually it's not the US. It is actually South Africa. And you all know why, right? I mean, apartheid is still there. No, not there as before, but the effects are still keeping people down. So yeah. And then, but if you close the high seas because of the distribution, we get the best distribution in the world. That's another quiz for you. Which country? Has to be a Scandinavian country. At the time we did this paper, it was Sweden. They have the closest income difference, right? I used to earn not too far away from my professor in Norway when I was a student. Huh? Can you imagine that? That's Scandinavia for you. So anyway, so that is the idea here. Closing the high seas, anytime we look at it, we feel is the wisest thing to do. And when I started talking this, people thought I was crazy, including Daniel Pauly. Said nobody will believe this, nobody. But actually, the Ross Sea in Antarctica has been closed, partly because of these discussions. The 3020, there's a new agreement which was signed, the Comyn-Montreal Agreement on the high seas, calling for closing 30% of our lands and oceans. That's progress in that sense. So sometimes scientists, you all know this more than me, you take a little idea, at first everybody says it's stupid, it's that, and before you know, it's all over the place. This is what makes me. If I come back, I will be a professor again, right? I'm sure many of you will say the same, right? Am I right? No, I think so. I don't need your answer time. So anyway, we're very close. So the conclusion, not everything, not everywhere, not all at once. And I think the day humanity actually gets to that stage where we can actually control ourselves, we're wise enough. You know the meaning. Being wise is your ability to resist the temptation to do something you can do because you believe it's not the right thing to do. The day we get there, then we'll have a beautiful world for all the world's people and all our environments and other creatures. So thank you very much. That's my dream and hope. Yeah.
Thank you, Rashid. Very interesting.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Thank you, Rashid. Thank you very, very much for a very interesting lecture. Will you take a few questions? Oh, yeah. Anybody have questions for Rashid? Yes. Out of there.
Yes, I want to thank you from the point of view of the first row. This was a very engaging talk. I love this subject. I have been on your side for many, many years, as I think have we all. In fact, I want to complain about just one thing, and that is you are preaching to the choir. Do you realize better spend your time on the others? I also want to bring up the name of recently lost member of the Department of Mathematics, where is my home on this campus. Colin Clark. And did you know Colin Clark? Yes. And a number of people here knew Colin Clark.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
You had his name as a reference in 1973.
Yes.
He was one of the early people to recognize
Absolutely.
this problem and made mathematical models and had some considerable influence, I believe.
Absolutely, yeah. His book, Mathematical Bioeconomics, is like the Bible of our profession, actually. And Gordon and him worked a lot, did a lot of good stuff together. It's because of them I came here. We were friends. We used to go home and have dinner together with Colin, so it was a big loss for us. Janet is his wife. I mean, we have amazing time together. Such an optimistic guy. You know, I organized a conference in Namibia, and I wanted he and Gordon to come, South Africa, Namibia. And by then he had started slowing down on travel. But I got to know that he's an avid bird watcher. He loved bird watching. So I told him, Colin, I mean, Namibia is like a paradise for bird watching. And here he comes. He joined us. And the students, the people love to just see him because of the work he has done. Yeah, absolutely. And to the preaching to the choir, I agree, but you know, I do a lot of public talking. It's unbelievable. It's just crazy. And I get into rooms that I could never have dreamt of, right? You know, 2 times I've been to the palace with Prince Charles. Then he was a prince. Yeah. I gave a talk in the State Department. John Kerry talked, President Obama talked, Leonardo DiCaprio talked, and I was the number 4 to talk. Little Rashid. I mean, who is this guy? So I do take this to really many places. So thank you, and thanks for your support. And we keep doing the best we can. Thanks. Yeah. Thank you.
Sirjet of medicine, pediatrics. I want to thank you, and it's really reassuring to see that somebody is looking after the next generations. I'm sure a lot of us, this is what keeps us up at night. But on the other side, things like climate change, sustainability have become ugly words.
Yeah.
And my question to you is, how are we going to bring the international community to speak the language you're speaking?
Yeah, tough question. It's really tough, especially when you look at the climate, political climate now. I think there are countries where if they hear this, they will call me an environmental terrorist. Yeah, so there is that. But on the other hand, if you take the whole world, there's really a lot of support for this kind of thing. You know, I was in Ghana just about 5 weeks ago. The Minister of Fisheries, Amelia Atta, she's the new minister there. She started in January. It's unbelievable what she's doing. So I went there to support her. They're doing a policy and the political thing. So I was in the news, and we got the bill signed by the president. And I came back from Nigeria. Before I went to Dubai, the governor of Lagos did a big show on blue economy. I keynoted for them. And so if you look internationally, there's people get this. It's just that the big, powerful nations, that's our biggest problem, I think. Yeah. Because what do I do? Yeah, thank you. Fingers crossed, things can change. Actually, in March, I was in a room in Paris with Al Gore. We had a meeting there, Al Gore. And he said one thing that gave me a lot of hope. He said, guys, don't give up. Keep doing the good work. Because politics is a renewable resource. It's like fish. And I thought that was quite cool, actually. Yeah. Anyway,
Okay, one last question.
Oh, that must be God. Yeah, please.
Thank you for a great talk. I just have a question about whether you make any headway with the Canadian fisheries people in government, because for years we've known that open pen fishing off the coast is damaging our salmon stocks. And so it's not just about overfishing, it's about destroying the environment in which the fish live. So I just wondered if you'd made any headway there.
Yeah,
Thanks.
very good. You know, we've had a relationship. I mean, Joyce Moray, many of you will know her, our member of parliament, and she was Minister of Fisheries not long ago. She almost didn't take any big decision without talking with our group, who'll be on Zoom, and she will ask us questions, get literature, support her. So it was really good. She actually bought Infinity Fish for all her senior officers. She did. So there's that relationship. The current minister, I don't know the current minister, so it may take time to develop that. I've been to Parliament a number of times to give those presentations. So yeah. So there is action on that front too. Yeah. Thank you. I thought, can you take Gordon Monroe, please? Gordon, I see you trying.
Well, one question.
Just one, yeah.
Because people are waiting outside.
Anxious students out there.
So this should be short and sweet, huh?
Sorry,
Gordon?
Bill, do we have to, our time is up? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. We had a reference here to Colin Clark through my work. One idea which Colin Clark and I developed in terms of economics, which has now become almost universal, is the idea of capital. This building that we're living in is a type of capital.
Yeah.
We now talk about natural capital. Natural capital isn't just for today. It's for the future.
Future also.
And we have had, in spite of what Rashid has said, it's not all doom and gloom. We have had some considerable restoration of stocks. And this idea of natural resources as capital is now becoming universal. So, for example, one of my colleagues at the World Bank is advising countries in Africa.
Yeah.
Say, look at your fish stocks, not just for the benefit of the local fishing industry, but as types of capital, return from the capital, which can mean not only profitable fishing industry, but more schools and more hospitals. So the idea that we have to, it's not just today, we have to look forward
Into
to
the future. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's good. Thank you, Gordon. Yeah.
And just about Colin Clark, I'll say that working with him made my career.
Colin, amazing Colin. We love him. He's amazing. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay.
As a measure of our appreciation, Rashid, we'd like to offer you the esteemed, but that's the operative word, the esteemed umbrella of the Emeritus College.
Thank you so.
There you go.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much for giving your time.
It's a privilege to be here and to be with you. Senior colleagues, all the best. We will talk again. Or maybe I become a member soon.
Keep on doing the good work.
Yeah, keep on doing the good work. Thank you, sir.